so overrated, right?
Everyone, it's Blue. Make sure you like and subscribe. Today I'm going to be doing an interview with Conan and Bill Burr on Bill Burr Thinks Women Are Overrated.
Your show, F is for Family, I relate to it because it's about parenting in the 70s, and that's, that was when I was parented like you. What do you think of parents now? How do you compare them to parents in the 70s?
Oh, it's just completely, the kids have so much power. It's like ridiculous. Like half of these kids, I'm like, I look and I just have what happened to me. And I'm like looking at a kid and be like, this kid's about ready to get punted across the grocery store. And it just never happens.
Right.
They just don't get hit. And I think it's hurting this country.
You're mad. Wait a minute.
No, like,
let's get this. You're mad that children are not being hit.
There should be the threat of it. Half of it was just it was just your dad was acting like he was going to do it. He never did it, but your mother did. And because she was a woman, it was like, okay. Because it was like, hey, you let a girl beat you up, you kind of felt emasculated.
Yeah.
We had a rule, like, a lot of the stuff that I look at from when I was a kid that actually kind of made sense in a way would now be considered like abuse, I guess. Like when I was a kid, if you didn't finish your supper, as we called it.
Supper, yeah.
Yeah, my mother was just like, well, you're going to finish, she would just wrap it in cellophane and you just picked up where you left off for breakfast. Like a blue collar job. Like you take the shovel out of the hole and just start digging it again. So, yeah, I remember one night we had cube steaks, which is like one of the toughest pieces of meat. I don't know if you guys, everything's so like Asian infused Wagyu beef. Everybody's eating that crap now, but cube steak was like, they literally had to hit it with a hammer to make it like edible. And so we were having cube steaks, and I forget, my little brother was still in a high chair and he couldn't finish his. So my mother goes, all right, we're just gonna have to eat it for breakfast. And that was like 8 hours away, which was like half his life. So he's like, all right, I'll take that deal.
Oh my God.
So the next morning, I remember we were having waffles. My mother always made Sunday breakfast. So we had all these waffles, eggs, bacon, this whole layout. My brother was looking at half-eaten cube steaks and a little mound of green bean casserole. And he goes, so he looked at my mom, he goes, Mom, can I have a waffle? And she goes, no, you gotta finish your supper. He's like, well, after I finish my supper, then can I have a waffle? She goes, no, that is your breakfast. And he goes, oh, Mom, I hate you. And my dad, without looking up, took a full glass of milk and threw it in his face.
Oh my God.
This is what kills me. What kills me.
You want everyone today to have as miserable a childhood as you had.
No, but it was kind of funny. We know what's hilarious was my mother just popped up and just immediately started cleaning up, and my dad just kept eating. Like he didn't like.
Oh my God.
Like the roles were defined back then. Now the guy.
Oh my gosh. This is not even a bit. He's just like, I got some family story for you. Oh my gosh, he's so naturally hilarious. I just see him like not even make eye contact with his kid, and he's just like picks up milk and chucks it at his face. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I think I like it more that it wasn't over exaggerated of how the family freaks out. Like, no, he basically doesn't even make eye contact, just with no hesitation throws the milk on his child. And then the mother, with no hesitation, like it's happened before, just goes and cleans it up. It's just so funny. What a different way of living. I don't even know if other people's families are like that. I do kind of agree with Bill Burr. I mean, he pointed out that kids nowadays do not grow up the same way that kids did like 30 years ago or 40 years ago. And, they're looked at as a lot more fragile than they were before. Kids even played outside before a lot more than they do now. And you would get like a scraped knee or fall off your little go-kart or whatever it would be outside. You'd play outside on regular scooters that weren't motorized. And now kids usually play inside or maybe on like their tablet or computer or something. I think that people kind of describe growing up back then, like, some 40-year-olds now will say stuff like, you were lucky to get to play outside on the weekend, but all your homework always had to be done. You always had to eat all of your food, or you would be punished or, like he said, have to eat it the next day. Whereas now it almost seems like kids, in a weird way, kind of try to debate. I don't know, it's just a little bit maybe more lenient in society. So not as like a cultural thing, but just society as a whole kind of has moved a little bit more in a sensitive direction, I guess. At least with how you handle children and combatively what you do and how you raise them. I mean, even participation trophies are things that people will make fun of, especially older generations, that kids now get. Because kids can't be left out. Even if they don't win, everybody has to get some type of ribbon or participation trophy for just showing up. And it's like almost frowned upon to give first place, second place, third place, and then no ribbons after that because kids all need some type of validation.
No, like the roles were defined back then. Now the guy has to throw the milk, he has to clean it up while telling his wife she's brave for just sitting there. Like whatever that is. Did you hear it? I know. Women are so overrated, right? We went from
Conan's like, stop.
We went from not listening to them to now it's ridiculous. Like that believe women. It's like all of them. How about 85%? I'll give you 87%, all right? But that last 13% that keys your car, lights your shit on fire, and puts a family pet in a pot of stew. Who put a pet in a pot of stew?
Bunny in a pot?
Glenn Close.
Oh, that's close, yeah.
That's okay, all right. I think it was a separately boiled.
You know what I miss, tougher parenting and evidence. Those are the things that I miss from my childhood.
Evidence.
Yeah.
You mean
due process?
He tried not to laugh at his own
Somebody says
joke.
something happened, and then someone else goes, well, I said it happened this way, like the old gumshoe shows. Then they had to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah, that doesn't exist now on social media. It's just like it's just frontier justice.
Right.
You feel how nervous everybody just got in here at the fact that I just suggested that there should be due process? This guy's talking crazy, man. Did he just join ISIS?
He looks so bored with himself.
This is what I'm saying. And then the woos that they agreed, but they didn't agree when it counted.
We'll digitally add woos, don't worry. We have the woo machine. You are way too angry. 50 is still relatively young. You have the anger of a 110-year-old man.
We just talked about
these
this.
telephones.
Conan gets what I was saying. Also, I totally did not realize that there was like a whole another human right next to Bill. Like, I would have never even noticed that if they didn't cut. It's like a person sitting next to him didn't realize. Oh my gosh. I think I like the most that he almost kind of did this lip thing, like he was gonna laugh at his own joke, but then for the solid rest of the whole bit that they were going for, that sounded made up to me at the top of his head, so he must just be funny. Like, he's just a funny person. He just was like, I just love the little amount of effort that he even looked like he put into it, which was almost 4%. He was just, that's how it is. And then you woo now, and you didn't woo 5 seconds ago when it mattered. Like, his little, points and the things that he points out and his facial expressions, all of it. The whole combination of Bill Burr is just amazing. I'm such a fan of him. He's so hilarious, even naturally. And he's so not afraid to say things that make people kind of uncomfortable. Conan was, wait. And he just, leaves his eyes squint because I think he wants to pretend that it didn't happen. On his show where he says women are overrated, Conan was like, cut that out. But Bill just doesn't care. He's like, yeah, they're overrated. Women, all of them. I mean, nowadays, you have to tell her while she's brave at the table for watching me throw milk on the kid, and I still have to clean it up. He's so hilarious. I really like that he doesn't need approval like a lot of other artists, but yeah, a lot of comedians. You need that type of, you agree with me, you get it, and he doesn't really pull or reach for that. He kind of says it, and if you agree with him, you do, and if you don't, then you don't. And he even points out how they were oddly silent and not very responsive, and he kind of teases that about the audience, and he's like, see how I just talked about due process and you all are acting like I just joined ISIS? It's ridiculous. and then he just moves on. What I really admire about him is he doesn't stray away from his stance and what he thinks, and he doesn't seem to lose confidence even though it doesn't look like he necessarily has a whole audience backing him and what he's saying. I mean, he's talking about something that should kind of be like common sense in a way, because it's due process. It's something that's a thing that exists for a reason that we all go by. And whenever he says that, people get uncomfortable. So it's interesting because, I mean, I even believe that there should be kind of a process to figure out things and see what happened and what didn't happen and whatever. Because whenever the pendulum swings this way and it starts getting a lot of people who stand behind it, things start getting kind of uncomfortable and shifty, and people just kind of go with the flow at that point. And it's like a ball that everybody just gets behind. I just think that it's important to preserve the need for some type of evidence, because if you don't, then all situations start muddying together and start all looking the same, and then that risks some of them and all of them becoming kind of shady. And it starts becoming even harder to differentiate the real victims from people who aren't, and it makes it really hard for real victims to get actual justice. All these situations are going to start blending in and looking alike, and I'm just really worried that the pendulum can start swinging back in this direction where nothing's taken seriously because of it. I actually saw something the other day that really freaked me out, just to kind of sum up what I'm saying so no one takes it the wrong way. Someone said, "I would rather believe a liar than a rapist. So case closed, believe all victims." And that just freaked me out. I mean, you're literally giving a ticket for somebody to just claim something, and we're just gonna believe them because that's what we're doing now? I don't think that's right, and that's really scary. Listening is very different from just going full swing on board of believing. You can listen and not just, there's a difference. And I like that Bill Burr can talk about something that's very like itchy, uncomfortable subject and make it funny. Everything he says is funny to me so far, and I just really like that. And I think that we all could use something and someone who can make things that are supposed to be uncomfortable funny, because if we didn't have that, then everything would just be a serious, uncomfortable situation and topic. Okay, but that's going to be it for today, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram, and also check out my Patreon. It's only $5 a month, and you get an extra video every week. Thank you so much for watching.